Asia Wilson has definitely been in the headlines these last couple weeks, man, in regards to Caitlin Clark news.
Caitlin Clark is living her best life this offseason, balancing high-profile speaking engagements, appearances alongside legends like David Letterman, and well-earned time off from basketball after an exhausting rookie season. But while Clark is busy being celebrated, a peculiar pattern has emerged, and it all seems to circle back to one name, Asia Wilson.
Asia Wilson found herself in a situation involving Caitlin Clark again.
In the wake of Clark's record-breaking $100,000 virtual speaking fee going public, a tweet spotlighting a curious leak from Wilson's camp has sparked whispers of jealousy and pettiness. The internet quickly took notice, with fans questioning why Wilson felt the need to insert herself into the conversation once again. Is this a calculated move to keep up with Clark's growing popularity? Or is it just another example of Wilson's privilege rubbing people the wrong way? The internet is buzzing, and the comparisons are as brutal as they are hilarious.
I don't know what it is, but these women forever hating on CC, dog. It's looking real spooky out there for a bunch of these WNBA stars.
When it comes to making headlines, Caitlin Clark does it without even trying. After a historic rookie season with the Indiana Fever, where she led her team to their first playoff berth since 2016, Caitlin's star power has only grown. But what makes her truly remarkable is how she's dominating the offseason. Not with dramatic announcements or flashy endorsements, but with quiet, impactful moves that reflect her unique blend of talent and character.
But I think the thing about leadership is like how you approach every single person is going to be completely different. And I think the thing that's helped me be successful throughout my career has been the relationships that I've been able to build with people, and every single person you have to approach differently because they come from a different background, they come from a different place. Somebody can be a little more tenderhearted, and for me, I'm probably want to be screamed at. Like, it's just everybody's a little bit different. So I think that's what's unique about leadership and being able to understand people, but that takes time, and building relationships is really important.
Clark has turned her voice into a powerful tool, captivating audiences at corporate events, charity galas, and educational forums. She's not just playing basketball, she's shaping conversations about leadership, resilience, and health while being compensated accordingly. Her $100,000 fee for a 30-minute virtual session has set a new standard, earning her more from speaking half an hour than her entire WNBA rookie salary of about $76,500. And here's the most surprising part. Despite the steep price tag, her schedule is fully booked. From headlining events with business icons to recently sitting down with David Letterman, Caitlin has become the face of inspiration far beyond the court. She's also balanced this whirlwind of appearances with pro-am golf tournaments, community initiatives, and off-season training. And through it all, she's remained laser-focused on what matters most, taking care of her health and preparing for the future. "I need a break from basketball," she admitted in recent interviews, a rare but refreshing acknowledgement in today's non-stop hustle culture.
I feel like basketball has really consumed my life for a year, so I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened. Like, I feel like taking some time to myself and really enjoying that and reflecting back.
This focus on balance has only amplified her appeal. Fans adore her not just for her skills, but for her humility and sense of perspective. She's proof that you don't need to court controversy to command attention. But while Caitlin seems content to let her actions speak for themselves, not everyone has been able to stay quiet. Just as Caitlin settled into her off-season groove, whispers of a brewing one-sided rivalry began to ripple through the WNBA world. A series of suspiciously timed leaks hinted at jealousy and competition. And while Caitlin herself has stayed above the fray, one particular WNBA star seems determined to pull her into the spotlight. What happens when Asia Wilson, a reigning MVP, suddenly enters the narrative with a curious leak? Is this an innocent coincidence or something far more calculated? Let's unpack the drama.
Asia Wilson is currently back in the headlines after news surfaced. She's charging $100,000 for speaking events.
Caitlin Clark's offseason has been a showcase of poise and professionalism, seamlessly blending speaking engagements, golf appearances, and well-earned rest. Meanwhile, Wilson has found herself in the headlines, not for her accomplishments, but for a curious leak about her speaking fee. A viral tweet claimed Wilson charges a whopping $110,000 for 30 minutes of virtual appearances, sparking an immediate storm of debate online. At first glance, this seemed like a standard celebrity flex, but the timing? Oh, it's too convenient to overlook. This reveal came just days after Clark's $100,000 speaking fee became public knowledge. Clark's appearances showcased her marketability and discipline, But Wilson's alleged fee? It was met with skepticism and, let's be honest, a few eye rolls.
She's talking about, she's charging $100K for speaking events, and fans is like, Shrek? Since when? And like, you only doing this because of Caitlyn.
Social media users quickly noticed the pattern. Why did this leak come right after Clark's headlines? One fan sarcastically commented, "It's like Asia Wilson has an alarm set to whenever Caitlyn Clark is mentioned." The undertone in the reactions was clear. Fans saw this as yet another attempt to redirect the spotlight onto Wilson.
Asia Wilson is the queen of the delusion. She's absolutely the queen of the delusion.
But wait, there's more. Remember when both Wilson and Clark declined offers from Unrivaled, the new 3-on-3 basketball league? Clark's decision came with well-documented reasons. Her focus on self-care after a grueling year and her preference for staying off the court during the offseason. Wilson's camp, however, quickly leaked that her offer was even bigger than Clark's, despite her reasons being far more generic. One fan nailed it. "Nobody asked, Asia. You could have just said no and kept it moving."
That's crazy because literally nobody asked, and sources close to Asia Wilson decided to answer anyway.
This isn't just about speaking fees or Unrivaled. It's a pattern. Wilson's Nike shoe launch delayed releases for other athletes, sparking chatter about preferential treatment. Her "winning isn't for everyone" ad became a meme after the Aces' humiliating playoff loss. Fans increasingly perceive her moves as calculated attempts to stay relevant in a landscape dominated by Clark's humility and authenticity. Caitlyn Clark has said nothing about Wilson, never hinted at a rivalry, and continues to focus on her path. Yet Wilson's consistent attempts to one-up her paint a starkly different picture. The fans are noticing, and they're making their opinions loud and clear. If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We know watching this video takes some of your time, and we appreciate you. Now back to the action.
So what do you think it'll be, Josh? Don't piss me off. Do not piss me off.
If the leak aimed to boost Wilson's standing, it only highlighted something fans have been grumbling about for years: privilege. While there's no denying Wilson's talent, her accolades speak for themselves. Her approach to fame and competition has often drawn mixed reactions. And this latest stunt? It's just added fuel to the fire. Let's start with the infamous Nike shoe launch. Remember when Wilson's signature line took center stage, reportedly delaying releases for other players? For fans, it wasn't just about the sneakers. It was a metaphor for how Wilson's career has been positioned as untouchable. The phrase, "privilege on display," trended on X, with one user quipping, "When you're Asia, the world waits, even when it doesn't want to."
Fortunately, they signed the woman to build a brand around: Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Caitlyn Clark. Instead, in the early Clark era, Nike stock has tanked over the span, and the CEO just got ousted. By the way, though Clark got famous around 22, if you want to buy her shoe, you could be waiting until 2026 or 2027.
But the privilege narrative extends beyond branding. For many, the leaked speaking fee comparison and the unrivaled salary was the final straw. While Clark quietly built her brand on authenticity and performance, Wilson's moves often feel calculated to command attention, whether it's needed or not. As one fan noted, "Clark inspires without trying. Wilson tries too hard and misses every time." Perhaps the biggest takeaway is the growing gap in how fans perceive these two stars. Clark's grounded, team-focused persona continues to win hearts, while Wilson's calculated moves often leave fans questioning her motives. And as this latest backlash shows, the audience isn't buying it anymore.
Paige reminds me a lot of you. Like, it's not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball, obviously. But, like, she understands her privilege. It's like what pushes her over the top, in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you. And I mean, that's a compliment.
Speaking of Unrivaled, its debut season was supposed to revolutionize women's basketball. But losing both Caitlyn Clark and Wilson has left the league scrambling. Built on promises of elite talent and groundbreaking equity stakes, the league's marketing efforts leaned heavily on star power. And now, that foundation is crumbling.
Throughout the year, WNBA players were demanding to be given credit for elevating the league. Angel Reese claimed that along with their pretend friends in the mainstream media, they wanted us to believe that the WNBA was exploding in popularity. They wanted to keep all the credit for themselves while downplaying the impact of the only star in the league, Caitlin Clark.
The roster reveal was billed as a spectacle, yet it turned into a glaring disappointment. The empty wildcard slots meant to tease Clark and Wilson's potential involvement were seen as desperate attempts to ride their names without a firm commitment. Memes flooded social media, mocking Unrivaled for overhyping what it didn't deliver. One viral post summed it up: "You can't call it unrivaled when it's just unmet expectations." For Clark, her rejection of the league cemented her reputation as a player with clear priorities. She didn't need Unrivaled to bolster her brand. Her packed schedule and meteoric rise speak for themselves. By walking away, she proved that sometimes less is more. Fans celebrated her decision, with one noting, "Caitlin didn't just reject the offer, she elevated herself above the noise."
Obviously, they've tried to do everything they could to make the most of the situation. They tried to make the most of Caitlin Clark not playing by hinting everything and basically making people think that Caitlin Clark was going to play.
Wilson's approach, however, painted a starkly different picture. While the leak about her supposed higher offer grabbed headlines, it also reinforced narratives about privilege and opportunism. Fans weren't shy about pointing out the contrast between the two stars, with one user on X remarking, "Clark's silence speaks volumes. Wilson's leaks just feel loud and unnecessary."
I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try to be the best. I get y'all saying best player in the world. That's great. It looks great. But I want to be the best person. I want to be the best teammate, because that's how I get the best out of my team.
For Unrivaled, the fallout is more than just a PR nightmare. It's an existential crisis. Without its two marquee names, the league faces an uphill battle to convince fans and players of its credibility. Analysts are skeptical about its ability to draw crowds and attention without a cornerstone talent like Clark. Even Angel Reese, one of the league's few remaining headliners, now faces the unenviable task of carrying its debut season on her shoulders. As the 2025 season looms, one thing is clear: the story of Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson isn't just about basketball. It's about what it takes to truly win over fans. The dust has settled. For now, Caitlin Clark's decision to gracefully decline Unrivaled has left a lasting impression on fans, not just for what she said, but for what she didn't. She let her actions do the talking, prioritizing her well-being and career over short-term gains. Her humility, focus, and ability to stay above the fray have only solidified her as a generational figure in women's basketball.
Everybody talks about the effect that we have on them, but also they have the same effect on us. And I think that's what's really cool about it is to see how much joy it really brings them, and it brings their families, and that one game where they spend 2 hours of their whole entire year has such an impact on their entire childhood, and I think that's really cool to think about.
In contrast, Wilson's leaked narratives have raised more questions than answers. Why did her team feel the need to highlight her offer, especially in the wake of Clark's quiet refusal? To many, it seemed like a play for relevance rather than a genuine statement. The backlash has been swift, with fans calling out what they see as an unnecessary grab for attention. For Unrivaled, the failure to secure its dream stars has been a humbling experience. The league now faces the monumental task of proving its worth without the two names that could have defined its debut season. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: credibility cannot be built on hype alone. As we look toward the 2025 WNBA season, the stark contrast between Clark's rise and Wilson's narrative leaves us with valuable lessons about leadership, humility, and the power of authenticity. Clark's trajectory shows that true greatness isn't just about what happens on the court, it's about how you carry yourself off it. And while Wilson's story continues to unfold, the public's patience may be wearing thin. Will Wilson course correct? Or will the privilege narrative persist? What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.